Okay, here's the thing. I know everybody is excited for Seto, Beliath, Lucius, Livia. You know, they are getting their plus 15, etc. I understand that. But can we take a moment of appreciation, alright, for this awesome, amazing costume right here. Alright, RichNet's Hey, what is up guys? Kickstarter here. Welcome back to another Brave 9 video. Alright, so this is a transfer student RichNet costume which we should all be getting for free. It says there Golden Week puzzle event rewards. No idea what that is, but hopefully it's coming real soon. But look at this. She's literally holding a box of, I have no idea what that is. Sausages? What are those things? Cereal? Sausages? It could be anything, right? It's up to your imagination. But look at this. When we click on the combat image, boom! She's literally holding a flaming ball. Alright, just about to throw it to your face. Like, if that's not a cool costume, I don't know what is. Alright, so definitely that's a costume that we should all be getting. Hopefully, you guys will be doing that event. Hopefully, we'll all get through this Golden Week puzzle event reward together. Should be easy. Just have to log into the game and do all the events and stuff. Alright, let's jump onto the video. I've been watching SYA's stream for a bit. So if you are not familiar who SYA is, he's also a YouTuber from Korea. He plays on Korea server. He has been doing a bunch of Seto stream. So he got his Seto up to plus 10 and then plus 14 later on. And I'll leave a link below in the description. Alright, so that you guys can check out his channel as well. And if you do head over there, let him know that I sent you over there. Alright, so basically a couple of new findings about Seto basically. Alright, so we have Seto. You might see some Seto interaction with a few other Octos, but he has his Seto up to plus 14 on the second stream. So definitely a couple of things that we can gauge on how good or how bad Seto is. But if you guys are upset looking at the skill description for Seto, I totally get it, right? So, but a lot of times in theory and in practical, like they both will be two different things. So it's something that we have to take into consideration. Now, I try my best to provide you guys as much detail as I can because I know a lot of free-to-play players might be choosing Seto or Beliath. So these are the two choices that we have to make based on what we can see. So let's dive into it together. Alright, so microphone switch time. Okay, so you can see in Korea they already have the puzzle event, but I think it's not yet available in the rest of the servers. Alright, I'm going to like fast forward to the point where we get to find out what Seto is this. Alright, pause. Boop, 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 boop. No, not yet. Forward a little bit. Okay. So Grand plus 15, Natus plus 15, this guy has Refi plus 15, but his Seto is plus 14. So we have to gauge based on a plus 14 Seto. Alright, so what does a plus 14 Seto has? He literally have everything, 300% attack, right? So as opposed to, yeah, he only gets that once at plus 11. After that, there's no more upgrade. It's just more the reflective counter side. So it's 210%. So at plus 15 he will get 280%, so it gets stronger at plus 15, but I think plus 14 is a decently good stopping point. The best skill that he can get for his barrier and awakening skill is the same throughout, so that's what he gets at plus 14. Okay, so we're gonna watch a couple of battles right here. So I will not be showing the full battle right here or the full stream because it's like 1 hour long, and if you guys are interested to watch the full thing, I will have it linked on the description below. Alright, so we're gonna see some battles here. So some of these you might find extremely interesting, so I do find it as well. Okay, so keep in mind plus 14 Seto. Okay, so we're gonna have a couple of observations right here. So Seto is positioned in front. I do like it. Again, most likely we're not going to be able to receive any buffs. So you can see one thing to note right there. Alright, slow it up. Okay, so Asmode going right here. Alright, let's see what's the interaction between Asmode and Seto. Asmode, boom. Okay, so you guys clearly saw Asmode couldn't one-shot Seto. So I'm not entirely sure it was a crit or not, but I assume that's how the... Let's have a look at the damage, then we can gauge from there. Okay, so we saw 513 HP was taken away. So I think that's about right. So I guess the reason why Seto could not receive buffs is because of Asmode as well, right? So because of Asmode, if Seto can receive buffs, meaning he can still be one-shotted by Asmode. I think there's a reason why the developers do that. I never thought of it before, right? Like Asmode is the only enemy supporter that can support enemies, so that could be one of the reasons. If they allow Seto to receive buffs, still going to be weak against Asmode. So now we know Seto can be used to counter Asmode easily. So if you do not have an option, now not every player have Lucius, I understand that. Veteran players will have Lucius to help. If you see an enemy place Asmode, you're going to place your Lucius right there to counter that Asmode. But now if you decide to pick Seto from the second jumpstart quest as one of your options, now you have something that can deal with Asmode, right? So you don't have to put like 100% defense. Sometimes you can put Dalvi and stuff, but it's just there are occasions where you're gonna need her on the other lanes, so you can't really use her defensively. So I do appreciate this a lot. So Seto can be used to actually replace a lot of roles that we currently have, which is good. Okay, so moving forward, we're gonna see Christina hits Helga right there. Okay, so we saw Seto one-shotting Asmode. Not surprising right there. Alright, that's supposed to happen. Okay, so what else can we notice right here? Okay, so Yuri went in, smacked the Seto right there. Alright, so she did receive the DOT. Let's see. She's gonna smack Seto. Boom! Alright, so that's a decent chunk amount of damage right there. Decent chunk. But notice Yuri did receive the DOT, the fixed damage DOT right there. And she is ticking, but unfortunately she has the passive that can help her out with that. So that's one advantage. Benshina went in, kablam. So Benshina will receive the fixed damage DOT, but Benshina as a very tanky defender, she's one of the few that can survive that easily, considering that she can heal throughout. Like she's gonna survive that, no problem for sure. Alright, so what else can we observe right here? Okay, so we see Natus going in, okay. So we're gonna see Christina right now. This is something, oh no, Christina is gonna get taunted away, unfortunately. Okay, so maybe we'll see that later. Okay, Raphithia buffing. You can see it seems like it seems like purification is applied on her, on Seto, right? So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe purification is one of the few special buffs that can go through and be buffing Seto. Alright, and then we can see one more thing right here. Hopefully you guys can notice. But if you notice, like this Raphi icon is present on Floria, is present on Yuri, but it's not present on Seto. But we saw the purification icon right there on Seto. So maybe she can still receive certain things. Alright, Seto can still receive certain buffs, but very limited. Okay, so here's the thing. Floria right now will move. Notice this. Floria is buffing Seto. Look, no increased HP right there. No increased HP. So Seto didn't get anything from Floria right there. So that is very interesting. And notice when she has 2.6k HP on this Seto. 2.6k. So after that, she will go in and hit Gran. Boom! So she has 1074 HP left. So something that we can gather right here. This is a plus 14 Seto, mind you. Again, Seto is not going to counter Gran by any means. Alright, so this is just a regular Gran. Looks like she has about... I think this one has 2 Vital Runes. I could be wrong, but most likely 2 Vital Runes. But based on the HP recovery on this Gran, I don't think this is a plus 15 at all. So Seto is not going to be able to help you guys deal with Gran. So keep that in mind. If you are struggling, in fact, I do think that Gran seems like a viable counter against Seto actually. Because keep in mind, Seto can be taunted away. Yep, that's going to happen a lot of times. If Gran has taunt, the Seto is going to end up hitting the Gran. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. If you are picking Seto, your mindset has to be like, Seto is going to be a warrior that is very unique. I feel like his niche is very unique right now. Very expensive bomb, like can be used to make a lot of units to suicide into him. But he won't replace Angelica or even Adin in trying to get rid of Gran, right? Alright, so let's forward to the next battle. Let's see if we can find more interesting things right here. Like before the Octos during the 6th Devil meta, the only option for fixed damage, who was it? You have to go for Alec, right? There's no other fixed damage. Natus is not fixed damage. He does go through 100% defense, but he's not like a fixed damage dealer. Angelica is not either. So you have to pick Alec specifically. So for a lot of players, not many players pick Alec. I mean, for some of those who pick, sure, he has been great ever since. But now we have Seto. I feel like in a lot of ways, Seto can replace the need of having the fixed damage or Alec, depending on how you look at it. Now again, we're going to see again a Seto hitting a Gran. So that Gran seems like she has a full HP. So I'm going to assume that's a double shield Gran. Alright, shield runes Gran. So shield runes meaning that she can survive very good against normal attacks. But since Seto does fixed damage, and you can clearly tell right here, Seto is going to go in and boom. Alright, so unfortunately Gran survived. Barely, 848 HP. Shield rune Gran, Seto could almost do it. It's if only Seto could receive buffs, right? This is one of those upsetting moments where you see, Seto is not going to be able to deal with Gran. Alright, if you can't deal with Gran, there's no way you can deal with the likes of Velter or even Benshina, which clearly have higher HP than Gran, right? So his role is not to deal with high HP tanks. So in a lot of ways, alright, this is just my opinion, alright, so if you guys disagree, it's fine. In a lot of ways, Seto has a very niche role and he will never replace Angelica or Ventana in those roles. Alright, so Ventana and Angelica can always deal with these tanks, and sometimes Adin, depending. Adin will need a couple of rounds so that he can rack up his attack. So at round 1, usually he won't be able to do that either. Okay, so now this is going to be interesting right here. We're gonna move into Gran hitting Seto, and I think we can all agree that we can find something interesting right here. So when Lucius hits Seto, he loses about 1000 HP, 500 plus 500. Alright, that's fine. So now Gran is going to come in. Alright, Gran comes in. Look at this. Boom. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like there's 3 ticks of 500 right here. As opposed to when Lucius hits Seto just now, there was 503 times 2. But this time there's a 503 times 3. So I'm trying to figure out, am I looking wrong? Let's fast forward again. Okay, 4600. Okay, 3100. Okay, 3100. Okay, so 3100 now is 2100. So when Lucius hits Seto, Seto's HP reduced by about 1k. Alright, 1k HP. So but when Gran hits Seto, let's see, Seto's HP reduced by 1500. Alright, so that's a lot more. Clearly Seto's skill basically does like maximum life times 11% additional damage. So it doesn't matter what kind of damage you receive. Like whether you receive more damage or less damage, it's going to have a fixed amount of this life times 11%. But in that case we saw it was a bit different when Gran hits Seto versus Lucius hitting Seto. So Gran seems to be able to reduce Seto's HP by 500 more. So I am assuming because Gran has this reflective counter, so when Gran hits Seto, Seto reflect the fixed damage to Gran and Gran reflect back this damage to Seto. So therefore Gran was able to deal more. Alright, this is just my theory. Let me know what you guys think. I could be wrong regarding this. But I find that extremely interesting because in a way, right, if you think about it, Gran is still very unique then, and she is still a very decent option for players to be recruiting. Alright, obviously if you have been playing for a while, you might want to save for the Octos, but I'm more referring to the newer players. If you think that the 6 Devils are completely obsolete, I don't think they are. Alright, so most of them are still usable even after the existence and after the batch release of these plus 15 Octos right here. Okay, so in this case, right after this, with this Seto having 500 HP left, like he's going to die, she is going to die right here, right after this. She was to go in and hit the Gran, kablam. Alright, so you can only take... So that's probably Seto's biggest weaknesses as well. It's not just that Seto can be taunted away. It's like Seto, when he attacks enemy, he can also receive damage reflection, right? I assume reflection of damage. So my question is this, alright? I haven't seen any clips yet. Will Seto die to the likes of Chalkel, Cubic or Zakan, or even Beliath's skeletons? Because it seems like Seto, yes, he does have the defensive power. Like this skill is obviously for defensive, alright? When enemies attack you, it only takes this amount of HP. But when you attack an enemy, can you still die to Raffi's reflective counter? To a lot of things. It seems like he can still receive a lot of reflect in return. So in that case, Seto is going to be extremely weak against Beliath's teams. Alright, against team with plenty of skeletons, against team that try to counter. He can still be countered by Cubic, Chalkel or Zakan, which I'm a little bit upset about. I was hoping that he could have a way to deal with those in a different manner. I mean, there's always pros and cons for each units. For Seto's part, he can always take hits. Alright, I do think that from what I gather, he cannot take direct hit from Livia plus 12 onwards. But that's besides the point. I do think that even if he takes hit from Livia, he will be able to reflect the damage and kill Livia. So that's like a trade 1-to-1. I don't think it's such a bad trade if you ask me. I think it's a decent trade. But for Seto to basically be able to deal with a lot of units like Angelica, Adin, etc., I think it's a pretty good offer right there in an overall package, right? Like at the end of the day, if you do not have a unit that can deal with Grand Hill there, I feel like picking Seto might not be such a good deal. Alright, so if you have like a Ventana or something that can deal with Grand, then sure, Seto will be a decent pick for you, right? So I do think that that's the conclusion that I can come up with right now. Obviously, once I see more of Beliath, I will give you guys more of a different feedback. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks a lot for watching. Again, if you guys want to watch the full stream for this particular clip that I'm referencing based off, head over to SYA's channel. I'll leave the link in the description below. Just drop by and say hi to him. Alright, so if you're new here, subscribe to this channel, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.